Hello, and welcome once again to another live stream of SYWK podcast. My name is Desmond, and we are celebrating Halloween. So stay tuned to the live stream. A lot of exciting things coming up. So we will start with a beautiful story. One of my close friends, he had narrated this story, you can say 3 years before on my channel. So I'm going to play the recording. So the title is The Positive Side of a Paranormal Activity. So here we go. Listen to the story and then I'll be back.
When my dad passed away in 2019 July, right? Then my mom. So basically, my mom has been a housewife, okay, and she's always been at home. My dad was working and then he retired, so she's always been a dependent on him and all of that, and she's always been at home. So whenever she went out or whatever, my dad used to take us out or drive us. So that was her exposure to the outside. My dad. So when my dad passed away in 2019 July, she was heartbroken. Obviously, she was like a only partner for so many years, 37 years of marriage, and now he's not there. So she took really bad, and she was not really recovering from that shock. And she had a slight paralysis stroke on the right. So her movements were compromised. So she was not very mobile. And so then, and she was overweight. So we had to find a maid. So me and my sister, we tried to motivate her as much as possible. Got a physiotherapist too, because then she was completely giving up, and then she started walking in the month of September. She started walking last year. She started moving more than what she would move, and the physiotherapy was really doing good until we got to know that she had a blockage. So she had to put a pacemaker. So we did an operation for the pacemaker. After that, her health deteriorated completely. She just wouldn't. She kind of gave up. And she would keep talking about my dad and crying for him even 6 months down the line. And it's completely justified, especially when you've not really worked. The only world is your husband. You know what I mean? So we tried to basically motivate her and try and give her the best, but she just wouldn't come out of that. So then she went and stayed with my sister for some time, and it became very difficult because I went and spent time with her for 1 week because my sister wanted to go to Goa and she had some work, so I had to go there and be there for 1 week. So on Dubai, I went last October and I spent 1 week with my mom. The physiotherapy would come every day and she would try to do half an hour exercise and then full day on the bed. She was very stubborn and she would keep crying for my dad. So it became very taxing. Then finally she says, I want to go back to my house where, and stay there. So we told her there's nobody there in the house. So how can you go there? You need to have a caretaker with you 24/7, which is not safe because my sister stays in Thane, right? And my house is in Chembur. So she wanted to go to a house when she wanted to go to a house. She wanted to go to a house, so we told her, you can't do that. She's like, no, I want to go. Then finally, we took her. In December 2019, we took her home to Chembur. And then my aunt came down from abroad and stayed with her for 1 month, full January. So she was happy, but there was a caretaker 24/7. So my mother would be taken care of by the caretaker, everything and sponge, food, everything was taken care of. And then in the month of February, my aunt had to return back to her country, which is she's currently staying in Thailand. So she had to go back there. So my sister told my mom, now you come back to Thane because I cannot relocate to Thane, to Chembur because I have kids and their school is in Thane, everything is there. My mom said, no, I do not want to go to Thane. I want to I want to stay in this house. My sister and I spoke to my mom. I said, it's not possible. You can't stay us. And she said, no, then I want to go to this place in Uttan. Uttam, there's this place for senior citizen homes. I want to go there because my mom has an older sister who's there. She's a spinster, so she's staying in the senior home, and she's very happy, very very happy. She used to stay with us back in the day, but now she's there after my dad passed away. So my mom said, I want to go there. More than that, we were bothered about when you already have your own house, when you have children who are willing to take care of you. Why do you want to go? And she's like, no, I want to go there means I want to go there. So then we said, okay, fine. We took her there. We took her there in February, and then she started giving that people a lot of trouble. And she would call out and she would disturb her roommates and saying that her husband is coming. Okay, husband is coming. Husband is coming. I want to go back to Chamber. Now she wants to come back home. So then I said, yeah, it's becoming too much. So then we tried to put sense into her. All that happened, and we reached March. Now March is when the lockdown started. Okay. March is when the lockdown started, and she's like, I want to go back to Chembur. So then we told her, you cannot because the world is under lockdown. Mumbai is under lockdown. You can't, no one can enter the senior home, no one can exit the senior home. So we can't send you, mommy, just watch the news. See, she's like, no, y'all are lying to me. I want to go back. They're like, no. Then they even showed her the newspaper articles, whatever was there. Still, she was not willing to believe it. Then she's like, no, no, no. Then after she told the caretakers that her husband is coming, she has to go back. He's coming. Otherwise, he's coming to take her. He's coming to take her. He's coming to take her. And then I spoke to her after Easter Monday or something. I spoke to her, and she was just not talking to me. She was just in her own trip. Like I was talking to her, I was asking her questions like, what is the problem? I mean, the lockdown is there, all that is there. Please understand. When it stops, we will get you back. We'll find some help, some way. Because at the end, it's her own house. She wants to come back. You know how it is. We can't say
Yeah.
She wasn't responding to me. She was like, okay. Anything I asked her, she was like, yeah, okay, fine. I said, I'm asking you something, but no response. 1 week later, it was Sunday, April 19th, she passed away. Which was 4 months back. So, of course, we were all shocked and all that. And then I spoke to the caretaker. I even have her WhatsApp messages. And she told me that, mommy was missing daddy too much. Too much means too much, that she made our lives hell, and she would keep saying that daddy's coming to take her and all. But yesterday, this is what's the interesting part is, this is the reason why I want to talk about this. She said the day before she passed away, she told the caretaker that listen, my husband is coming tomorrow, and I'm going. So the caretaker just ignored it like a routine, so she's just saying the same, just ignored it. The day she passed away, in the morning, she woke up at 8 o'clock, 8:30. She had a breakfast. She was very obedient. She was absolutely fine. She went and spoke to everyone and told them that my husband is come. And I'm going. Bye. She said these words. And she went to her room. She had milk. They give them milk at 10:30 or 11. She had the glass of milk and she went. So that was freaking scary in a good way, because for me, I felt dad really resonated and came because she was so confident about it. So when I spoke to the caretaker, she very clearly told me one thing and one thing only. She said, when your mom told me yesterday that daddy's coming, she sounded like a brand new person, fully re-energized. Her words were very clear. She had energy in her. She sounded like she was a fit person. And she told her, Tina, tomorrow Godfrey's coming, I'm going. And in the morning, she apparently told the other people, the other people over there that, my husband has come. I'm going. He's come to take me. and she goes to a room and she passes away. So that was a huge revelation for me, the way it happened. And when I heard it from the caretaker's mouth, it was even more heartfelt, because then I realized that maybe, she just could not do without him. They say, when you really want something too much, nothing in the world can stop you from getting it.
Yeah.
Om Shanti Om का बहुत famous dialogue है.
हाँ वो कायनात
I love that dialogue. Kainat, yeah, puri kainat. So I feel just that she just fretted for him and she called for him so much. Finally, mother said, "You know what? Let me just come and take you. You're not going to make it without me." So yeah, I think so that's one very interesting. So not everything about paranormal is bad. There are also good instances where makes you want to question life after death. And what is it like after death? What is it there? Which is very
This is really beautiful, man. Whatever you do. So this was a very beautiful story which a friend of mine narrated 3 years back on my channel, and the story is so special that I still remember the story every now and then. And when anyone asks me like why horror, it is because of you people, because the stories what you all have is only you guys can understand what you all went through. If it is a bad experience or a good experience, that's all up to you all. But the story was really beautiful. Let me know in the comments, let me know in the chat, how did you like the story. And we also have Swati, our co-host. Swati, welcome. And how did you like the story?
Hi, Desmond. Hi, everybody who's listening. I actually thought the story was very heartwarming.
Yeah.
That is one of the rare. This is actually one of the rare good horror stories, if that's the right
Yes.
terminology. Most of the horror stories you hear are creepy or scary, or some terrible stuff is going on. Or
Hmm.
even if it's not terrible, you still have that sense of, oh God, is it there? Is it not there? It just leaves you that with that uneasy feeling. This,
Hmm.
on the other hand, was actually the exact opposite.
Yeah,
This
that is
was a
why the
very
title also the
heartwarming.
positive side. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was sad in the beginning when he was
Hmm.
narrating it. I could tell that, okay, I know what this is leading to,
Hmm.
because of course his mother's attachment to his father and her behavior.
Hmm.
But by the time the story was over, I was like, oh, that was actually sweet.
Can you hear me? I, there is an error. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, right? Okay, Swati has left. I think so. She'll rejoin. Anyways, 3 a.m. Fear. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but if you would like to join the stream, go to the description. There is a link. Click the link in the description and join in. I will get you in the studio.
Hi. So did you hear what I said last a minute ago?
Yes, but I can hear my voice. Uh, 1 minute. Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, yeah. So initially it was sad, and then I could
Yeah.
see where the story was leading to because of his mother's attachment and the way her behavior kind of changed. But after the story, I
Hmm.
was like, oh, this was actually sad but sweet.
Hmm. I think so. There is an error. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I
Ah,
can hear.
okay. Yeah, okay. I had kept my another tab open so I could hear myself talking twice.
And
Okay.
wanted to ask you a question about the story. So how is his mom now?
So his mom passed away.
Oh,
So yeah, so basically his dad passed away a couple of months before, and so the basic idea of the story is that that they were so close. in terms of a husband and wife, or in terms of a relationship, that after he passing away, she could not function. She started falling weak, she started falling sick. And then one fine day, she told everyone, my husband is coming. And then, that morning when she passed away, she felt like she was a new person, she was reborn. This is what everyone around her was telling. She drank a cup of milk in the morning, because she was staying in that in what is that called, home for age.
Senior.
And then yeah, senior home. And then after that, she goes to the room and she passes away. So basically, she kind of felt, or she kind of seen her husband coming, and then she just said, please take me away. So he was a bit sad, but then eventually, down the line, he was happy. He got a closure that, okay, that maybe now she will be in a better place and she will be with her husband. So it was
Ah,
kind of
okay, okay.
sad, but it is a beautiful story.
It is, it really is beautiful. I was of the impression that she didn't pass away. I thought it was like it hasn't happened. Like she hasn't
Mm.
died. That is why I was like, okay, so what happened next? Okay, that she really did pass away.
She did not die. Okay, anyways, I don't know, there is an error, because I don't know, there is something wrong with the stream tonight. Anyways, if you guys can hear us, then please mention something in the comments. 3 a.m. Fear podcast. If you're still there, please click the link in the description. You can join the stream. Then we can have a. Okay, yeah, someone has joined. Okay, so Nikita has joined. I'm getting Nikita in three, two, and one. Hello. Hi, Nikita. Can you hear us? Okay. I'm not sure if we can hear Nikita. Let's wait for her to connect. There is someone else as well who's saying, hey. Now the person's name is just P. Now, what should I call the person? Okay, yeah, he's saying we can hear you. Uh, yes, yes, yes. People can hear us. Okay. So no confusion. Nikita, you can join in again. If you are on your mobile data, then try to connect on Wi-Fi, or if you're on Wi-Fi, try to connect on mobile data. Sometime because of the internet, you cannot hear, but try to rejoin. So for tonight's live stream, we began with a very beautiful story. Now, in tonight's live stream, the link is available in the description. If anyone would like to join in and share your paranormal experience, or just talk about paranormal, then feel free to join in. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like, share, and mainly subscribe. And we are going to talk about possession, we are going to talk about Halloween, and then the famous case of Emily Rose, Annalise, Michelle. So we are going to talk about all that. So stay tuned. Nikita has joined again. I will be getting Nikita in three, two, and one. Hi, Nikita. Can you hear us? Because we can't hear you. Okay, Nikita is saying my audio is not going through. Nikita, are you joining in through your phone? Is it possible to try another device, or maybe try another browser, clear the history, and try it again, because sometimes there is an error? But check if it is possible to join in with another device. We will move ahead till Nikita does not reconnect. So, Swati, since it is the Halloween week, tomorrow is Halloween. I have a small information about Halloween, and it's a basic information. Everyone knows about it. But since we are on the live stream and it's Halloween week, I just thought let's explain to the people who still don't know what is the meaning of Halloween, because there are misconception about the word Halloween, and a lot of people talk about uh, has an demonic day where people praise the Satan and XYZ. I'm going to give you my perspective, my point of view, and why I feel Halloween is not really demonic. It is a normal festival where people mainly celebrate in Europe and USA, and now it is kind of getting more famous in India and different places. And because of that, we have Halloween lives sessions, we have Halloween movies, we have Halloween parties as well. So basically, Halloween, while growing up, what I at least okay, let me get Nikita. Nikita has joined in. I will continue with that. 1 minute. It's not Nikita, it's someone else. P has joined in, so let me get P in three, two, and one.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hi, Desmond. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Hey, just joined in and happy to see you again on the stream. I was on the stream, I think maybe 3 to 4 months back. I did share a paranormal, uh, what do you say, an experience, I would
Yes.
experience with you guys on the stream. But then kind of lost the track of your channel. But happy to see you. Just stopped by to say hi, and I don't have anything to share right now, but just happy to see you back. That's it, man.
No worries. No worries. Always happy to get you. And please stick around. Be there in the chats because we will be continuing. Nikita is also joined in.
Hello.
So we will be discussing more. Hi, Nikita.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, finally I can
Okay.
hear you. You
Okay, I
are
can hear you.
joining. Yeah, okay. There's someone else also called as Nikita. She's also joined in. So I hope that's you or there is someone else.
Yeah, I think. Can you remove one of my accounts?
Okay, the one which is just queued, now you are there, so I will not remove
No,
you right
because
now.
I can hear you twice.
Okay. Okay, you need to put your stream off. If your YouTube is on, then you need to put your YouTube off. You just need to be on the stream. Both of them left. What is happening? P,
It's
thank
the
you.
race of the vanishing ghosts.
Yeah. P, I could not get your name, but thank you for joining in. Stick around in the chats. A lot of exciting things happening here. Nikita, you can join in again. I'm waiting for you. We are all waiting for you. So, Nikita, y- she has a channel or she has an account on Instagram called as 3 a.m. Fear Podcast, and it's quite interesting whatever she does.
Actually, I just checked it out. As soon as you told me this, like I think 10 minutes ago, I just checked out Nikita's podcast. Her content is very similar to both of our content, actually, both Desmond and
Yes,
myself. So it's
yes.
actually quite nice that all three of us are making content about similar topics.
Yeah, that is quite interesting, and that's how we grow the community as well. I like to invite people from our horror genre so we can talk. We at least we have something in common to talk to. So that is nice. Hi, Nikita, can you hear us?
Hi. Yes, now it's fine. So sorry.
No worries.
Almost everything went wrong tonight.
No, it's fine. Even
I
when
think it's Halloween effect.
yeah, it is indeed. It is the Halloween effect. So,
Things
Nikita,
things
first
go
time
right
we
on Halloween, that might be a bit weird.
Yes,
sorry.
yes, it is. A bit scary.
It is scary. And let me introduce you to Swati. Swati is, I think so, Nikita, you're also from Bangalore?
I'm from Mangalore.
Bangalore. Okay, sorry, my bad. So, Swati, Nikita, Swati. Swati also has, Swati can introduce herself. Come on. Swati?
Hello, Nikita. I went through your
Hi.
account. Really nice content, actually. I just went through it like
Thank you so
5
much.
minutes back. Desmond thought you were from Bangalore, and I was almost going to be like, oh, another Bangalorean. When you said
I live in Bangalore.
sorry?
I live in Bangalore, but I'm from Bangalore.
Ah, okay, okay. So that makes sense. You are in Bangalore, but you are from Mangalore.
Oh my God.
Yes.
A play of words.
In Bangalore, what you guys say? Macha, right? There's a word called as macha
Macha, yes,
or
yes.
cheta, something
No,
like
no,
that.
no, no. Cheta is Malayali. Macha is the typical Bangalore Kannada slang.
Hmm.
I don't know Kannada, so
And I'm from Goa, so Goa, Mangalore, Bangalore. So let's bring
okay.
all the horror content from different states. Then
Isn't
it
it
will be.
South India?
Yes.
At the moment, we need some creators from North, and then we would have covered all of India.
Yeah, I also invited Swapnil from another YouTuber. His channel name is Abir Bhav. I am not sure. He has not checked my message. I hope so. Even he does this horror live. Let's see if he joins in later on. He's just shifted, so he's preparing his home studio. So let's hope for it. So,
That would be nice. Like all different states, and then all of us are in one horror community. All the
hmm,
crazy people who are obsessed with horror in the country.
yeah, that will be slowly, slowly. We will invite a lot of more creators so we can have a lovely conversation. So, Nikita, since it's the first time, if you can tell the people who are watching about your channel, and if you have anything to share with us, any paranormal stories or anything about paranormal, feel free to.
As I said, I cover horror stories. I love to cover true crime and horror stories, mostly towards real life cases. I've been doing this podcast for about a year now, and it's shocking to when you do research what you can find and the things that people believe and what they can go to. Thinking of this.
Mm.
So, yeah, and I personally did not have any paranormal experiences, but I recently went on a trip to the UK and I visited so many haunted places. And it feels like Hollywood has a huge impact on those places. So you can, they tell you that these are the haunted places, and then they'll tell you the movies that have been shot over there. The list, the places are too many to list. But it's like Hollywood has kind of created this impact, and you immediately associate that place with a specific movie. I think like
Mm.
you were talking about exorcisms. So immediately you'll be like, okay, so this movie has been created on this story, but no one goes ahead to see what the actual story was. In so many
Oh.
cases, I had to dig so much deeper in order to understand what actually happened and
Mm.
what was not there in the movie. So I think the Ed and Lorraine cases are the best example for that. What actually happened and what they put in the movie is completely different.
Yes, yeah, it is kind of true because obviously, they cannot show everything in the movie, and that also movies hardly for 1 hour or 2 hours max. So I feel they're not able to put everything. And so, what was it was major difference you found out when you were researching, or that was just minor difference?
No, it was major difference because you have like some movies. For instance, I'm just doing a case on The Conjuring, which I'm planning to release tomorrow.
Okay.
So when it came to that movie, I'll give you an example. Ed and Lorraine Warren were invited to come and perform and like perform something on the house. They wanted them to come and check whether there was actually a demon in the house. Can they perform an exorcism if it's needed? So for that, they were invited. They came in, they saw the place, they said, yes, there is something in the house, and then they left. They didn't
Hmm.
have any impact on that case, the real Perron family. And the family lived in that house for about 10 years with those ghosts or those demons.
Hmm.
Till date, no one knows. what was that entity that was haunting them, or was it multiple entities? But if you see the movie, it shows that they came, they helped the family, and they did a lot of things. But in actual life, they were just there for a few days, and they didn't do much. Even there is an Enfield haunting in London, and
Hmm.
I found out about that when I visited the UK. And there also it shows that, oh, they did a lot of work on the Enfield poltergeist case, but in actual
Yeah.
they didn't do much. They just came, they saw that okay, there was a haunting, and then they left. But in the movies it shows as if they have a very huge impact. So it calls to question how many of the movies actually say the real story, and were these demons that real? That's
Hmm.
also a very big question to ask.
Yeah, that is, and see, basically, I have been telling this on my channel a lot that whatever they, especially on the internet, or especially on the movies, whatever they shows related to horror content, you don't need to believe everything. Because yeah, when you're creating something, especially a movie, obviously you will have to add more characters. Because I feel the nun character also, because they made a universe eventually, so they had to, link, and they had to add more characters. And towards the starting of the movie also, they say, it is based on true events or true incidents.
Yes,
So it is not
yes,
uh, actually what has happened. But see, a very few people, at least us who are creating the horror content, will know. But the common people, they actually, they just see that thing based on true events, and they actually feel this is exactly what happened. So yeah,
yes,
it's a good thing you're doing, you're breaking the myth, and that's what I like. I like to break the myth, and that's more interesting than just spreading fake news.
yes. It's actually interesting to research on these cases because I
Hmm.
never knew about these until I
Yeah.
started about a year ago. I had no idea about these things. And there's a lot more to learn also.
Hmm. I know, I keep watching your reels, and it's quite amazing. It's just been a year, and then you have got your audience, you have got your reach. So that's quite interesting, and congratulations, because I seen that you jumped in terms of your numbers on Instagram. So hats
Yes,
off.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Give us some tips. That is what I was talking to Swati as well before the live. Swati, why are you so quiet?
I'm actually listening to what she had to say, but one thing is I don't actively promote my content on Instagram. I don't have a separate Instagram page as well for my podcast, and
Hmm.
that is something that I did consciously because my family is not very comfortable with me talking about dark topics. So I keep my passion as like, okay, this is a passion, and I don't want it to be connected to. I don't want to become an influencer. So that is why I
Hmm.
consciously don't promote or do anything. Whatever is available is only available on Spotify, and maybe on there I'll put up a story. But
Hmm.
you guys, on the other hand, Nikita and y'all are like proper, influencers where you want people to really listen to the stories and come and follow you guys, which is also very admirable because I'm unable to do that. For me, I get like very conscious. Oh God, how do I put this out? What is my family going to think? So kudos to people who have the guts like you guys.
I keep screaming like karo, subscribe karo, but कोई करता ही नहीं है. That is the problem.
No, I
And
have the same problem here.
yeah, keep screaming like. Now, people who are watching this also, please like this stream. YouTube will push, and it will share to more people who enjoy horror content. So don't forget to like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. And also, towards the end of the live stream, once the live stream is done, in my description I will add Swati's uh, a Spotify channel, and as well as Nikita's channel, so you can go and check their channel out as well. And I feel Swati is the real ghost of the horror community, because she's nowhere. It's only her voice. So no one has seen her. No one knows what's the Instagram account. Nothing. So she's the real ghost. That's what I feel.
Desmond, sleep carefully tonight.
Hey, please don't do that.
So guys, I'm listening to you guys. You guys are doing really well and like sharing your experiences and stuff. I had a
Yeah.
question for you, three of you.
Oh my
So
God.
my fiance recently moved in with me,
Mm-hmm.
and um I am kind of a fan of like horror movies, paranormal experiences, watching that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And she is complete opposite. She she is super like she's super scared. Usually, like the reason because is because it's US. It's both of us just by ourselves. So whenever I travel, she's by herself alone. But I really want her to like enjoy watching movies with me. So what
Hmm.
happened a couple of weeks ago is that my cousins were visiting me, and we all watched the movie called Talk to Me. Have you guys seen it? The
Not
Oscar
yet.
winning movie.
I've
Yeah,
heard
I
about
have.
it. Not
you
yet.
guys should see that. It's like a crazy concept. Not a crazy concept, but it's like a new level of horror, right?
It's a
Hmm.
Gen Z horror movie.
Yes, yes, exactly. But it does takes you to different places. So the thing is like Insidious, all those kind of Ed and Lorraine Warren kind of movies are completely different. They are researching, then they come across something else. This is like how Gen Z people would look at, and it's a completely amazing experience. And I couldn't sleep for a couple of days, and
Hmm.
she hasn't been sleeping since then. So I just want you guys, your guys's like inputs, like how can I like introduce to her like into horror genre, and how can I make her comfortable, because I'm not able to make her comfortable at all, and I'm missing out on so much stuff.
Who would like to go first? Swati, Nikita? Anyone? Ladies first.
I am not the best person to ask because no one other than me likes to watch horror in my entire family. My family and my in-laws family. Nobody watches horror.
Same here. What about Swati?
Actually, I think this is a common problem faced by most horror fans. Our families think we are weird.
Hmm.
Because no one in my family also watches horror. But can you please repeat the question again? Like, what exactly you want us to answer?
I just want your guys' help and on how I can make her more comfortable watching these movies, because again, you all of you might have families, partners, right? So how do your partners like react for
Ah,
your passion, and
okay.
how can you make them comfortable, bring in or introduce them to this genre of movies?
Got it. Okay, I'm actually the right person for this question. Good, you all picked me. So I'll just explain why I'm the right person for this question. Uh, when my husband was my boyfriend and not my husband, I
Hmm.
wanted to introduce him to horror content because, of course, that is my favorite genre. That was like early days. But I did not want him to think, okay, this female is super weird and creepy and all of that. I didn't want to leave a negative impression. So I was like, okay, how do I bring it up? So I just, slowly brought up the thing about, okay, how about we watch thrillers together? Like just, proper thrillers. He was open to that because thrillers are not exactly horror. They come close, but they're not. So he was open to thrillers. So during our dating phase, it was mostly thrillers, which opened his mind up to, okay, this kind of content is fine. And then after that, once we got married, then I was like, okay, now there's no need for me to be concerned whether he's going to think I'm a creepy woman only watching horror movies. So I introduced him slowly to very subtle horror movies, because there are some horror movies which are not all out there where it's like demons and crazy shocks and scares. There are some very subtle movies, so I introduced him to that. So now he's okay with watching thrillers that border on horror, and then you have subtle horror, but no all out there kind of movies.
Hmm. Yeah.
Got it, yeah.
So
Yeah.
one movie that
Yeah.
you can try. This
Mhm.
movie I watched fairly recently. I found out very late about this, but I made my husband watch it to see, okay, is he okay with this, or what is he going to do? But this was okay. This was manageable. It's called Lake Mungo.
Lake Mungo, okay.
Yeah, Lake Mungo is an Australian movie, and
Mhm.
this is a subtle horror movie. So when they start the movie, there is nothing that you should be afraid of. It's just a normal, like, okay, there's a girl who died. I mean, died in the sense she's drowned, and because she's drowned, her family is grieving for her. And only with time you see horror elements here and there. But even after the movie ends, it's not right there in your face or something that you would be like, oh my god, I can see where the ghost is. It's all hidden in the shadows.
Hmm.
Got it, got it. Yes, yes, definitely. I'll try that movie. Well,
Yeah,
I
try
think
like
I
that.
Mumbo, and probably you can also try. Your is she okay with the thrillers that come close to supernatural?
I think so. I would say that yes. Yep, yep,
She
yep.
okay, okay. You can also try Sixth Sense.
Yep. That is a good one. That's a good suggestion actually. Yeah. Yeah, I'll try that. Yeah, my only mistake was like I introduced that Bhoot movie, right? The Ajay Devgan one, and then I shared my own experience
That
with.
was not that scary.
No, Bhoot is actually scary.
no,
Like
no.
the
I found it scary. Huh?
it is super scary. Like
Yeah,
the
I found it
way
scary.
they show the direction and the sound and all. It basically scares you to the core. And
That's
again,
why
Yeah.
my strategy was not to introduce my boyfriend to any of this until I got married.
After that, you can watch.
Then be like, see, I'll expose you in subtle ways.
Yeah. Now you have to watch only, others will not get food. That is what you should say. But I would like to add one thing.
yeah,
Uh, See, there are some horror comedy also movies. Like there's this three movie also. So, you can slowly introduce her to this kind of movies also, where the complete movie is not extremely scary, where there are some jokes and XYZ and this, that, and all. And then slowly, then you can also introduce her to the stream and to Swati's channel, to Nikita's channel. I'm just doing my our promotions.
yeah, I
And
agree
then
with you.
slowly.
Yeah, yeah. One thing I noticed was that the other day, I saw her watching that movie, Bhool Bhulaiya 2. So there is a ghost sequence in
Ah,
that, right? Tabu and she does the makeup. तो मैंने उसे बोला यार तू ये तो देखती है and then you don't watch all the movies which I suggest. तो वो
hmm.
उसका reply था I know her, I know this, I know the faces, I know what to expect and all. So she's comfortable watching those kind of movies. But the
Okay.
only like the unknown territory she doesn't want to explore. Like that is somewhere like
Hmm.
there's I don't know क्या roadblock है तो but I miss on a lot actually.
But
But
has she watched this was three movie?
yeah, Stree, Bhool
She.
Bhulaiya, all that because
Ah,
like you just mentioned, it has some comedy content to it, so it just balances it out. So
yeah,
I used
then it's
to
fine.
always play the Jose's Ghost stream while watching or driving. So
Hmm.
so
That is
again,
also funny. Yeah.
yeah. But then again, there were some stories which shook her up. And again, like I mentioned, right, the story which I had shared on your stream, I told
Hmm.
her my experience first person, so that scared her a lot as well. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's a good suggestion from Swati and you as well. So I'll try that definitely. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Let us know after a week or so. How was our suggestion? Was it helpful, or I don't know? You can tell us after a week. How was the suggestion?
Yeah, definitely. Or on your next stream.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any story, like anything you have to share?
Uh, Apart from the story which I had shared earlier, there haven't been any experiences lately. But but I do experience some like discomfort when I travel. So I usually travel a lot for my work, and
Hmm.
every other week, like I almost travel 80% of the time. And I currently live in Michigan, and most of my work sites are in the eastern coast of the US. So one of
Hmm.
the recent experiences which I had was in Waterloo, Iowa. So Iowa is not a big like a very well known state. It's just a state known for corn farming and all that stuff. So one of our site I went to there and it was they were having a strike. So due to the strike all the hotels were booked. So there was only one hotel called Black Hawk Hotel. You can actually Google that, Desmond. So there's a Black Hawk Hotel
Hmm.
in Waterloo, Iowa, and they say that there are a couple of paranormal experiences or people did face some of them. So the reason it is famous, it is because it is kind of a heritage site which was converted into a hotel. So it's a building from late 1800s, and if you see or Google it, you can see that all their furniture is from that kind of era or it belongs to that era, and they have all the paintings, mirrors, all that stuff in the वो गलियारे में, or whatever the walkway is. So the creepiest thing which I experienced was that when I and actually I have a video of that and I can share it that with you. So I recorded it on my phone. So there's nothing super like scary in that. So right
Hmm.
outside my room there was a mirror, and in that mirror, opposite to that mirror, there was a painting. So reflection, once you see into that mirror, you see directly into the painting. So that was one of the spooky thing, because that painting is super creepy. It's like a lady who is crying, and then that mirror, it has all hair comb, hair clips from some lady who used to live in that building. So that's why that hotel is super creepy. It has all the like stuff people used to use back then. They kept it as their memory. So it basically not a bad experience, but it gives you very spooky vibes. So what I did, and I'm pretty famous for like in my company they make fun of me. So I shared this experience, like staying in a spooky hotel, to my colleagues here. And these white people, they are like some, they can like pull your leg in front of anybody. So one fine day we were having a dinner and stuff, and this topic came up. And my superior, he mentioned about me staying in this hotel and having a bad experience, because my manager back then, I told her that, hey, I cannot stay here, I'm feeling very bad, I'm scared and all, and she did not let me change my hotel and I had to stay there. So he shared the same experience with his new hire, and his new hire is similar to us. He's into paranormal stuff, and he likes to explore. So he stayed in that hotel for a day, and he recorded a video. So in his room opposite, in his room opposite to the bed, at 2 a.m. his cupboard, it's automatically opened and closed. So that one video he has, which he shared with all of us. But yeah, that that was kind of spooky because I could relate. I stayed in that hotel, but yeah, that was one of the spooky experiences. And I'll actually share that with you if you have a Dropbox link or something. I'll share the video I took and the video he took, so that you
Hmm.
have something on your side.
So what is there in the video exactly? Like what you can see?
So in
Ex-
my video, you can see all the whole hotel exactly. So the walkway, all
Hmm.
these stuff which people used to use, and how creepy it looks. So you will see basically how creepy vibes the hotel gives you. And in the second video is what my colleague took. So he woke up due to some noise, and then he saw that cupboard was opening and closing by itself. So he recorded that in a video.
Oh, yeah. Please, you have my Instagram account, right? If you
Uh,
can
I,
just
I'm actually not on Instagram,
okay.
but I'll try to see if my fiance allows. I'll share it from her account.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
connect me on Instagram, and then maybe Nikita, myself, Swati, we all can make a reel or something about it, or make a story about it.
Yep. But yeah, just take a look at Black Hawk Hotel in Waterloo, Iowa. It has some history to it, and
Hmm.
people. So again, it's a Halloween week, right? So at Halloween, last couple of years ago, there is a video on YouTube. People basically went there during Halloween time, and they did all this planchette stuff. So there is a video on YouTube as well, for
Hmm.
that.
So
So you
that
guys,
place is famous for such kind of things.
yeah, people say, because it's a buildings from late 1800s, so it's still there.
Hmm.
It burned down, then it was whatever reinstated, or
Understood.
all that stuff. Yeah, so it has some vibes. It's creepy.
Interesting, interesting. Do connect on Instagram and share this so that we can share it on our channel as well. Maybe in the next live stream also, I can play the video.
Yep,
It
yep, yep,
will be interesting.
yep.
By the way, I did not get your name,
My name is Prashik.
Prashik.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, Prashik. Thank you so much. Please tell your fiance as well that we all three said hi,
yeah, yeah,
and tell her to
definitely.
watch some horror movies.
Yeah, either
uh,
you'll back from me or not, because it will either her way or my way.
if you are not back, then that's another horror story. That is a different thing. पर अगर वापस आया तो चल ठीक है, सब सब ठीक है फिर इसके बाद. But do tell her that we all suggested this, and let's see how it works.
Yep, yep, definitely.
Good snacks are needed also during this time. When you convince someone to watch movies of your genre, expose
Mhm.
them subtly and provide good snacks.
Yeah, 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 correct. Whatever she needs, you just give her. If she likes ice cream, this, that, and all, सब टेबल पे रखने का और फिर slowly you should give her.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
उसको क्या उसको क्या बोलते हैं, ब्राइब ब्राइब देने का.
हाँ.
Yeah. These
Yeah.
are good bribes. Matlab,
Yeah.
good ways of bribing.
And make sure that her nails and all are like cut or something. Otherwise, she'll be scratching you when she's scared
भाई
watching
तो
the
और
movie.
डरा रहा है मुझको.
मेरे साथ हुआ इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. With experience. So be careful. Okay. So we will get more people as well if there is anyone else who would like to join in, because Zaid Ahmed is also there. Zaid, if you would like to join in, please feel free to join in. The link is there in the description. So Zaid is another person who narrates horror stories. He does not have a channel, but he is a co-host in another YouTube channel called as Avirbhav. Swapnil is the main creator, so I invited Zaid as well. So if you're still there, please do join in. Let's move ahead. Um, Nikita, would you like to share anything more from your side?
No, that's about it for now. I wish India could celebrate Halloween as well as, how they do it abroad. It would be so
Uh,
fun.
yeah, not like it's not like a public holiday or something, but I feel people, at least in Mumbai or something, or Goa, or I think so in Bangalore as well, they have parties and this and that and all, right?
They
Not
have
the way
just
this,
pub parties. Yeah, but
yeah,
not the decor, not like decorating the house and stuff. That
yeah.
that would be fun.
Yeah, that is one thing. Decorating a houses is one thing, but they also have these haunted house experiences around. So there is
Hmm.
where I live right now, a couple of blocks down, there is a new tour. So this company, I think, they set up horror houses, and you can basically go in a trip. So they have different themes like graveyard or mental hospital, all that, and all these actors they play scary roles, and
Hmm.
it's first time experience. It basically it it tests you how like how strong you are. So apart from that decoration of your house, the there is a good business case to
Ghost
be,
tourism.
yeah, in India, definitely.
But basically in India also there is a paranormal investigator. They are a group basically. Sarbajit Mohante, Pooja Vijay, and the third guy's name is Savio, I guess.
Hmm.
Okay, these three of them, they have also grown on YouTube, basically on social media. I've been following them from quite some time because they also wrote a book. The book name is Spirits Talk to Me. So since it's Halloween, if anyone wants to read something interesting, so they are 10 top cases which they investigated. That is there. It is co-written by another author called as Neil De Silva. He's also another Indian horror author, which is coming on top in terms of writing books. So this group, Sarbajit Mohante and Pooja Vijay, they have something called as ghost tourism, especially in India. And for example, there are haunted places in India. Let's give you an example of Bhangat Fort, or if you go to Goa, the Three Kings Chapel. So they take you to that places, and they will do a live investigation with the K2 meter and XYZ. So there are some videos as well on YouTube. So it's quite interesting. You all should check it out.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'll share it with you, Nikita, as well. They are also quite growing on social media. I'm planning to call them as well for a one-on-one session. So let's see. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I think I
Yes.
heard him on the podcast, one podcast where he explained all his experiences, how they basically connect with
Yeah.
the entities and all. Yep, yep. Yeah,
So
that's a good.
there are two. One is this group, and there is one guy called as Jay Alani. He's
Yeah,
from Delhi. He's individual person, and he also is he's a paranormal investigator or a person who breaks the myth. He's more of a person who breaks the myth. Like for example, this is very interesting. Now, one group of paranormal investigators, if they go to Bhangat, they say that it is haunted. They have found proof. They have found reading XYZ. But there is a case where Jay Alani goes to Bhangat and he does not find anything, and he says that it's just fake and people are just spreading blind faith. And his book is also there. It's called as Haunted, and his book is also co-written by Neil De Silva. So I have read both the books. So I am not blaming anyone, but it's difficult and it's hard to believe. Like who to believe? Like one group is telling that yes,
it
we
is there.
found
There is
there we
no.
found some reading, और फिर दूसरे लोग बोलते हैं कि नहीं है. So it's quite confusing.
हाँ, जय अलानी का पॉडकास्ट सुना है मैंने. उसका फर्स्ट
Hmm.
सीजन, सेकंड सीजन आ रहा है on Ghana.com. So I
Hmm.
followed the first.
Paranormal reality.
Yeah, reality. So first season he debunks some stuff, but there was one experience which he shared. I think Chambal, the episode where he where he goes to Chambal to basically do a research, and he comes across an entity, and that's what he has shared in that. So I
I
wouldn't say that.
am not.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
not
it was
sure.
episode or third episode in that paranormal reality podcast.
Because the book what I read, okay,
Hmm.
at least 8 to 9 chapters are there in that, and out of that he experienced a paranormal entity. You can't call it a demon spirit, or it's just an entity in Goa, and that is the Three Kings Chapel Church.
Oh,
So he experienced there.
okay.
But now who knows? Because I also kind of believe in that a thing where certain kind of people can experience and feel it, and certain kind of people can't. वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, like you know that I can't get this thing. Swati, you know about this in the Hindu culture. There is something where uh, there are three kinds of people. Yeah, I can't get that name only.
Yeah, yeah, Devgan, Rakshasgan,
Ha,
and
Devgan, Rakshas Gun, and this that and also Devgan, Rakshas Gun can kind of see and sense or something like this, and Devgan can't see. I don't have much of information about it, but I read something where only certain kind of people can see and experience.
true, true. But yeah, that's a really good podcast. But yeah, second season आएगा तो उसमें और पता चलेगा देखा है कि नहीं देखा है.
Which is another good podcast. ये नाम सुना है क्या पॉडकास्ट का नाम SYWK पॉडकास्ट
अरे
कभी
वो तो
सुना है?
बेस्ट है, मेरा फेवरेट है वो. फेवरेट पॉडकास्ट है मेरा, हमेशा देखता हूँ, सुनता हूँ. छोटे क्लिप्स आते हैं स्पॉटिफाई पे. आई कैन ऑल्सो शेयर दैट लिंक इफ यू वांट.
हाँ, यू आर नॉट देयर ऑन यूट्यूब. मेरा ज्यादातर अभी यूट्यूब पे, यूट्यूब और इंस्टाग्राम पे,
नो
स्पॉटिफाई
नो
से थोड़ा कम है.
यार, आई हैड टू बाय प्रीमियम, राइट? सो टू डाउनलोड योर कंटेंट सो दैट आई कैन हियर दैट ऑन इन माय फ्लाइट.
Okay. Otherwise, you can check YouTube now, more on YouTube. But now also you have two more creators here. Nikita is there. I have just put her link on the chat. 3 a.m. Fear podcast. Nikita, where is your
Thank
podcast
you.
available? Where all it is
On all
available?
platforms, including Spotify,
Okay.
Apple Podcasts, everywhere.
You're there on YouTube or you're not there on YouTube?
I haven't put it on YouTube yet because I'm not sure about YouTube's monetization policies. So because of that, I did not put it yet. Can we
You
put
should.
horror? Can it be
Yes,
monetized?
it can, but you don't need to put too much of graphic. Like the thumbnails and all should be subtle. You should not be too much. Otherwise,
Okay,
then it has different policies. But yeah,
okay,
and then
Yeah,
Swati is
okay.
also there on Spotify. Desi Horror Podcast.
yeah, I think
So
I
you,
followed Desi Horror podcast already.
Yeah.
But I'm
So
gonna also follow 3 a.m. Fear Pod now. Good one.
yes,
Thank you.
please continue supporting us, and we will be happy when your fiance will start following us. That is the time we will be happy. That's the best thing. What say Swati and Nikita?
That is थोड़ा ज़्यादा
Yes.
expectations.
ना अभी नहीं, but at least एक महीने के बाद once he's finished watching all the horror movie, then slowly he can introduce her to
Yes,
the
that
horror
long-term
podcast as
goals,
well.
long-term goals.
The
Ah,
real fear, the real
yeah,
fear.
that is the task which he has to complete. Anyways,
Let's
we will.
yeah, let's get
we-
to Desmond's story because he has a lot to say. So
yeah,
let's get to his story, and then you guys can also give your feedback.
I don't have a story, but I was just talking about Halloween and why people celebrate, and I was telling from my perspective. So basically, I'm telling from my religion as well and my perspective that 1st of November and 2nd of November, we celebrate All Saints Day and All Souls Day. So a lot of people have misconception about Halloween, that people pray to the dead, but basically on All Souls Day we pray for the people who have passed away, and we pray for their soul to rest in peace. But the new culture is where people started decorating their houses and they started creating more of evil, which is you can't say against the religion, but they don't promote that kind of celebration. It's a different kind of celebration. And there is an article also which I was just reading about it. So it says the name Halloween is linked to the Christians festival of All Saints, which is celebrated on the 1st of November. And another thing, it says that in recent decades the entertainment industry has really taken over, adding decorations and costumes that are really scary, and horror stories movies have become a part of the celebration. So a lot of people have a misconception, but what do you feel when you first heard about Halloween? The question is for Nikita and for Swati and for anyone whoever's there. When y'all heard about Halloween, what was your first thought about it?
I was always exposed to Halloween. I grew up
Hmm.
abroad in the Middle
Okay.
East. So for me, Halloween is kind of, a part and parcel because you get to watch it on TV, you get to see
Hmm.
it in movies. So it's almost everywhere. But it's just that I never got a chance to actually celebrate it because neither places where I lived celebrate Halloween.
Hmm. Which part of Middle East
So yeah,
you lived?
I was in Kuwait.
Okay. Yeah. I'm currently in
Yes.
Oman right now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So there also there would be no Halloween, right?
No, they are also against
Mm.
the. I don't know, the Middle East itself, or not the Middle East, or the country where I'm living right now. It's against promoting the negative stuff. And the interesting part is that a lot of black magic and a lot of interesting stories are there from this country, but they don't promote it. So that is why I
I don't know why.
don't remove content also on the Middle East much. Dubai you can do it,
Yeah.
but not anywhere else.
I'm staying far away from the Middle East.
Yeah, now you're back in India, right?
Yeah, now I'm back in India.
That's cool.
Halloween is not necessarily bad, but it's very difficult to convince people who have never celebrated Halloween.
Yeah, because in US and all, they go door to door and they trick or treat and this and that and all. Give me chocolates, this, otherwise I'll show you a trick and this and that. So many different ways. So basically, every community, every country has a different way of celebrating Halloween. This is what I know. What's Swati's point of view on this?
The thing is, culturally, it's not really, part of the festivals. So it's hard to really expect that, in the sense that culturally it's not part of India's festivals as such to
Hmm.
celebrate it. So I can understand why it's not being accepted as much as, let's say, it's in the US or UK, because culturally for them this is a big holiday. But because I'm from Bangalore, I've only lived here my whole life. I've noticed that with time, I think in the last five, no, not five, I would say 7 years. Yeah. In the last
Hmm.
7 years, the Halloween culture has grown a lot, because I've had consistent office parties for Halloween for the past 7 years. And I'm talking about like big Halloween parties. Like the office would be completely involved with deciding what they're going to wear, what are we going to do for the party, and we would invite everyone. So I feel like it is growing, but only in specific cities.
Yeah, slowly it will take. I think so. In Mumbai also, I feel Mumbai also, it is a thing where people celebrate this in schools, colleges. So yeah, it's interesting.
Also, one thing which is not yet there is what I've noticed from these parties. They look at it more as an occasion to have a party rather than Halloween itself. Whereas in US, UK, and Europe, not Europe,
Hmm.
since I don't see them doing much, but US and UK, their culture is that you do it completely. So you have kids who will go to, like, go door to door, get the chocolates. Then you have scary stories being told, all of that. So they have like that entire ritual of what is Halloween. But
Hmm.
in India, it's more like, okay, it's a reason to party, because none of the corporate parties for Halloween that I've attended, they've ever done any ghost stories. It's only been like, let's party. Like, let's
Yeah.
dress up with like scary costumes and party. It's not been like, okay, let's sit down around a bonfire and tell scary stories, or let's talk about local folklore or myths that have originated from India or Asia, because we
Hmm.
have our own stories which can be that we can share.
Hmm. Yeah. Culture is different. Yeah, everywhere is different. But here, this live stream is all about ghost stories. So we are going to share some ghost stories as well. But I feel, Swati, uh, you are going to talk about possession, I think so today, right?
Yep, yep.
Okay. Before that, a very short story. It is quite famous, but I just thought to just tell you guys. I don't know if you all heard it or no, but it is a very famous story. So now I heard this story when I was in office. Okay. So you know internet and you know stories and you know gossips, how if you tell something till it reaches the 10%, it's a different version only. So I heard this story quite some time back, but when my colleague in office was telling me the story, I was acting like I didn't know the story, but the way she narrated was completely different and it was quite interesting. So the story goes this way, that there is a very famous hotel here, but the hotel is famous for prostitutions. Okay, and around the hotel, all the girls are standing around the hotels, and guys will come in the car. They will pick one, and the girl will tell, okay, go to this hotel, book the room, and then this SMS me or WhatsApp me the room number. So apparently this happened, you can say 2 or 3 weeks before, where a guy in the middle of night around 12:31, he goes around the hotel to search a girl. So he finds one. She tells him, please go to the hotel, book a room, and send me the room number. And normally it takes like 10-15 minutes for her to come to the room. So he goes, he books the hotel room. Now he's waiting. He's kind of excited to meet the girl. So he's waiting in the room, but he's very anxious. He's not sitting on the bed. He's getting up, going here, going to the washroom, washing his face, coming out. And then suddenly, after a while, he could hear some noises which were coming from outside the room. Now he tried to see from the peephole. He could see that there were some people moving some things. There was staff which was going left and right. There was someone entering the other door, XYZ. So he ignored that. Now he's waiting. It's almost 30, 35 minutes, 45 minutes that the girl has not come to the room. Now he's getting paranoid. He's saying that I have paid her, and why she is not yet come? So he tries to call her, but the phone is not answerable. Like, she's not answering the phone. So now what happens is he is extremely paranoid and he gets very mindfucked and he says, now it's time for me to leave. But before that, he decides that anyways he has paid for the room. He will wait, he will order something to eat, he will have something, and then he will go. So in that process, again he starts hearing some noises which is coming out of the room. So now when he is looking in the peephole, he can only see red, only see reddish thing. He can't see anything, it's just reddish. Every time, he assumed that something is there on the people, so he tried wiping and this, that, and all. He is again looking from the people to see what is the noise coming out. He could not see anything. So because he was confused, he opened the door, and then after that he tries to peep outside, and shocking part is that there is no one. Again he closed the door, he's waiting for his dinner as well, and the most frustrating part is the dinner is also not coming. So again he calls the reception. He said, I have called for dinner, please send this dinner fast, I'm waiting, blah blah blah, this, that, and also he's very paranoid. And again he starts hearing some noises outside, and now the noises is, it's just growing louder and louder and louder. So every time he's looking at the peephole, he can only see something red. He's opening the door, nothing is there. Again, he's seeing in the peephole, it is red. So he gets frustrated. He says, fuck it, I'm not waiting for the food, I'm not waiting for the girl. I'll just go to the reception and I will say, take the key, I'm going. While he was leaving, there was, this helper who normally takes the bag and he keeps it in the room and this and that and all. So he asked the helper, like, what is wrong with this place? I could hear a lot of sounds which were coming outside, this, that, and all. So to cut the story very short, basically the helper, after a lot of conversation, he told this guy that a woman had committed suicide in the same room where he stayed, and when she committed suicide, her eyes had popped out and her eyes were red in color. So basically, when he was looking in the people, it was red. So basically, it was the girl, or it was the spirit, or it was a ghost which he could see. So now, this, first of all, tell me if you all have heard this story, but there is a different version of this story as well. First, Swati or Nikita or anyone, if you guys have heard the story.
No, I've never heard this.
You
Yeah,
all
I've
have
never
not
heard this either.
never heard it. Okay, so interesting part is that the story is very simple, but the story is based somewhere in Europe or Germany where a guy is a traveler and he goes to the hotel, and then that's how he can see from the people red. But when he actually finds the history of the room, they come to know that there is a girl who committed suicide and her eyes were red in color. But then that's the interesting part about the internet, is that you'd never know where the story goes, how it is created, what masala people add, and then eventually every country has its own different version of the same kind of story. So that is why I wanted to share, because everyone knows that a lot of fake things are spreading on the internet, and eventually our main goal is to entertain people, but also people should remember that do not take everything serious, do not believe everything, fact check. That's the main thing. So yeah, that's my side of the story. Now, Swati, if you can talk about possession, then it will be great, then we can discuss further.
So this is a personal story. This is not a popular possession story. So I thought I would start with a personal experience and then get into it. So, do I need to introduce what is a possession, or can I get into the story directly?
Up to you, you're the boss.
Okay, so I will introduce what is a possession. So just for our audience, in case they are unsure of this, and then I'll get into my personal story. So basically, the idea or the meaning behind a possession is that you are not the owner of your body any longer. There's an external entity that has entered your body and controls your mind as well as your physical actions. So, an external entity controls you both physically and mentally. That is how a possession is seen as, whether it is as per the church or as per regular people. This is how it works. So, coming to my personal experience, so this happened when I was fairly young. I think I was 10 or 11, fifth or sixth standard, something of that sort. And my mum started having a lot of health problems, and those health problems were actually a result of a lot of stress. She was undergoing a lot of stress at the time because we were in the middle of building our house. So we were constructing our own house for during that period, and because of that, that took a toll on her. And in case someone has any confusion as to why should a construction of a house take a toll on my mom, that's because when you construct a house, there genuinely is a lot of stress at play, because you're also managing your family as well as you're managing expenses, and the expenses always run high, and then you're also managing your work. So it's a lot of factors at play. Because of that, she was undergoing a lot of stress, and due to this, her health started deteriorating. So she had a lot of headaches, and then B, she had these weird stomach issues. So those stomach issues could not be defined at the time. At the time, it was something that nobody had heard of. And to describe it, so today's medical terminology, it does exist, but at that time, the way it was described was that my stomach is vibrating. So it was like your internal organs, your stomach, of your stomach region, is actually vibrating. Like you can feel the movement, like it's in that state of subtle vibration. And she was able to feel it, and she would tell us that something is wrong, that my stomach is vibrating, and we would be like, what does that mean? That makes no sense. And then she tried to talk to several doctors about it, and they also had not heard of this. It was also unique for them. So they were like, no, I think this is not normal. Maybe it's just, because you're so stressed. Like I mentioned, she had a lot of headaches at the time. That, you're either, it could be that you're completely exaggerating this. It might be a small stomach ache, but you're exaggerating it as a vibration. Or B, you're having some other internal problems, and the vibration is a result of that. So then my parents became very concerned that, okay, maybe it's something serious internally and it's resulted in this way. So she got her entire body checkup done. She got blood work done. She did everything. Like I remember that during that period of 2 years during the construction of the house, my mom was in and out of the hospitals quite a few times, and there was nothing wrong. Her blood work was clear, and um, her full body checkup, everything was clear. The only thing was this stomach issue. And then she went to a sorry, what is the term for that? Gastroenterologist. She went to a doctor like that, and he also could not prescribe anything other than the usual gas medication. Take these medicines and you'll be okay from a bloating point of view, and there's nothing else wrong. So then what happened? My parents decided, okay, nothing is happening from a medical point of view. Maybe we should try a spiritual path. Maybe spirituality is the answer. And of course, at this time, considering this was 15 years ago, 10, 11, yes, definitely 15 years ago, internet was not what it was today. The advancement of internet was not at this level. So it was not like I could just go online and like figure out what was going on. And neither did my parents have the access to internet at the time. It was very limited. So it was more based on what people will tell you, which I'm sure many of you know about. When you were kids, it was completely like that. So they were like, okay, we'll ask people what people tell us, we'll go with that. So some of our family members suggested the spirituality path, saying that, okay, maybe if you try this, you will experience some peace mentally, and then your body will also take its course. So they tried that. So what they did was they started going to lots of temples. They also started going to churches. My parents never had this problem of religion, even though I am Hindu as per birth or as per paper. They never had this concept that because we are Hindu, we will only follow this religion. They were very open. They would go to church, they would go to temples, and even if and our neighbors were also Muslim at the time. Even if our neighbors would invite them somewhere, they would go and we would share food and all of that. So we had a very open understanding of the way religion works. So because of that, my mom went to several temples and churches. After this, she started feeling a sense of peace. She started feeling like, okay, I think spirituality could be the answer, because when I visit a temple, when I visit a church, I feel some kind of mental relief. So I think this is the right way to go about it. But at the same time, her stomach issues were not going down. It was just that she was getting some mental relief. Finally, I think after a period of 1 year of all of this that was going on, meanwhile the house was still, being constructed, that was not there was no problem there, it was going on. We happened to meet My parents happened to meet a pastor, and this pastor was in one of the churches that my parents frequently visited. And he became very close to my parents with time, because they were there every Sunday, they would go to church. So with time, he kind of figured out that, okay, this couple comes every Sunday and there's something wrong with this woman because she is in pain. And then after some time, he suggested to my mom that, why don't we have a counseling session together, and then we can, figure it out, like what is going on. So when my mom had a counseling session with the pastor, she explained to him some of her symptoms. And some of her symptoms that she had headaches, again the vibration of the stomach. And then she also had some weird symptoms, like things like she was not able to control her thoughts. Some of her thoughts were all over the place and she was not able to control them. And she didn't have the energy anymore. Like, she was not my mom is not pretty high level in terms of energy, but at that point of time her energy was quite low. So she was also that, I'm not able to function like I used to function. So there were some weird symptoms. So the pastor suggested that maybe there is something else at play here. Maybe that there is a negative energy in your house, or it could be that you have come across something which is not normal, basically outside the human realm, something extraordinary. So my parents considered that. They thought, okay, fine, maybe it could be this. Let's take a look at our home. So they checked our house. How by check I mean that we invited a pujari home to do a puja. The puja went fine. There was no problem in the house, and it was the same house that we've lived in for a very long time. So it was very unlikely that suddenly something would go wrong. So that wasn't a problem. Then after that, what they did was they try to check with other people if everything of so there's something called vastu, which a lot of people follow. So they invited a vastu expert to see if everything was okay with the house from an energy point of view. So the vastu expert said everything is fine, there's nothing wrong with this house, you lived here for so many years, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with this place. And the vastu expert was again also a very spiritual person, so he could sense energies, and he was like, nope, there is no negative energy here, nothing. So the house is fine. Whatever is wrong with you people, but not the house. So that also was ticked off the list. So they continued having these sessions with the pastor and explored what are the different opportunities. And then finally, at one point, the pastor suggested, so this is something that even I have not heard of after my mom's case. This is only something I heard of at that time. So he was like, there is something called a partial exorcism, which is not that, they are going to take permission from the Vatican, and, because to perform an exorcism, you have to take permission from the Vatican and do a like a full exorcism, because you truly believe that there is an external entity possessing this person. But at that time, he suggested something called a partial exorcism, which is maybe there is something, and we will explore if there is something. So that is what a partial exorcism was. And my parents were open to it because there was no real harm as such. It was more like the pastor would explore if there is something that is possessing my mom, and if it has to be taken out. And also during that session, you find out if it really is or not. So they thought, okay, it's not a bad idea. Maybe we do go for it. So they organized it. They invited other members of the church for this, and they asked me, I mean, the kids, that is me and my sister, not to be present for this. um, and I don't know what all went on internally, but there was definitely some long conversations going on which I was not a part of. And they performed this on my mom. So when they performed this on my mom, again, it was nothing dramatic like what you see in the movies, with a person like tied up to their bed and acting crazy. This is just a way to find out. So they recited a couple of verses from the Bible, of course. They tried to ask certain questions. They put my mother in a state of rest, in the sense that she was not fully alert. It was like she was at a state of, half rest state, or half trance state, as you call it. My father, of course, was present for the whole thing and watching. And they recited some verses from the Bible and continued. After this session was over, they told her that this there is nothing of that sort, in the sense that there is nothing external that is possessing you. So whatever is happening to you is not at all connected to a entity. There is no entity possession here. So it's completely in your mind is what is controlling this. So you have to work on it on your own by yourself. And then, since my parents had explored all options, my mom had no choice but to work on her mental health on her own, in terms of the stress or headaches or thoughts, everything. And I think it did happen with time, because our house construction was almost done. So that stress was relieved. She started taking a little better care of her health, because we got help, like we got a maid and cook and all of that, to take care of household duties. So once all of that happened, my mom improved drastically. And then several years later, when we visited the doctor, we find out that there's actually a term for that later, and it's called palpitations. So palpitations is when the your stomach contents actually vibrate. So that is called palpitations. Just that at the time they didn't know what it was. So the doctor was like, "Okay, this is actually pretty real. It's an actual medical condition called palpitations, and now there's medication for it." So my mom took medication and she recovered from that. And yeah, it was just a very strange chapter.
So there was nothing paranormal, or she was not being possessed by anything.
Yep. At the time, they thought she was, because of the symptoms I mentioned, which is why they performed the partial exorcism with the other church
Hmm.
members. But they quickly realized that no, it's not that case. There is nothing here.
And I have a question: how did they put her into the trance form when the pastor came and when they were doing the partial thing? Like
Mhm.
how did she go into that semi trance form? Like,
So that is similar to, I think, what you do see on in the movies or on TV, where the church member talks to you, saying that now you are going to sleep. We are going to ask you some questions. We are trying to understand what is deep within you. So they kind of talk to you like how a therapist would talk to you, or a hypnotist will talk to you, and put you to sleep. It's not like you will completely, of course, be asleep or hypnotized. It's that you go into like a half sleep mode, where you're able to be part of this process better.
hmm, quite interesting. Nikita and P, any questions, or you would like to say anything? Feel free to.
Actually, I faced something similar to this a few years ago when I was in college. I was
Hmm.
also a little unwell, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Much later, they did. So that's for
Hmm.
another day. But around that time, I was taken to one of this. It's not our Roman Catholic Church. You know, there are these brothers who come and say prayers.
Yes, yes,
Not
yes.
they don't belong to our Roman Catholic Church. So
Hmm.
they took me to one such place, and they started saying that okay, we need to say a prayer and everything will be fine after that. And I could see, like, they made us stand in line, and these people used to go one by one. They would go in front and they would keep their hand on them, and then people would start crying. They would kneel down, and they would, or some of them would just fall. And I was
Hmm.
thinking, why is it happening? Like, how come everyone is just falling down? And when it was my turn, I stood there, and this person is just like pushing me with full force. Okay, I'm trying so hard not to fall down, and he's just pushing me, pushing me. It was like I can't explain that moment. I got out
Yeah.
of there. A few years later, found out it was a health issue.
Uh,
Nothing supernatural.
yeah.
But I will never forget that experience.
But this happens a lot in all the religion, where there are certain people who are genuinely helping the family, but there are some people who are actually use the term paranormal, and then they take money from the family. Like, I'm not sure if Swati knows or P knows about this. What Nikita said, basically, so they are not priests, they're not pastors, but they are called, or the term is called as brothers, where they know the religion, they know about the Bible, and then they have separate prayer meetings. So when even when I was in, I think so, in the fourth or fifth standard, my mom used to go for a lot of these prayer meetings. So the same incident keeps happening. What Nikita said, that you keep going one by one to the brother. He will. It's basically you. He will just keep his hand on your forehead and he'll heal you, and then a lot of people will fall. Someone will shake, and then they'll say the demon is coming out. This, that, and all. So even I had to go. So when the brother touched me, nothing happened to me. So I was wondering why there is no demon inside me. Why I'm not falling. Why nothing is happening to me. And then slowly, I realized that I don't know. This is my perspective, that they were all fake and they were just kind of showing something which is not true. That was my perspective. I'm not blaming everyone, but the specific one which I had gone to, they were the ones. And I think so in other religions as well. I'm not taking any religion name, but there are some people who are, they do this. What do you guys feel?
Actually, I kind of spoke to a sister because I
Hmm.
was in a convent for 2 years. So I spoke to this sister recently. I was doing a lot of exorcism cases and I wanted to know from her. And she
Hmm.
said that not everyone has the permission to do these kind of prayers. Like they can just do a simple prayer, but when it comes to exorcisms or getting a demon out of you, not everyone can do that. You need special permission, and that comes
Hmm.
from the higher up, the Pope. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
that's
a
why I
lot
said
of people can
Vatican.
do it.
Yeah,
The
Vatican
Vatican,
Yeah,
has
yeah.
so
and you
yes.
have to and you have to also give a lot of evidence to the church that this case is not something, the person is not medically sick. It is like the person is possessed by a demon or a spirit, and then only the church will give you permission. I feel even in Ed and Lauren, there is a book of theirs. I read that quite some years before. I can't recollect the name of them. They have many books. In that, there was a chapter where they used to, like what Nikita said, all these different cases. So they used to be a part of the case where they used to only find evidence that yes, that this case or this person is possessed, and they used to give it to the church, and then their job used to be done. Yeah, in the movies and all, they show that they are the one who actually perform all the rituals and all, but it is not that. But yeah, at least the church. But actually, I
The
also want to know the thing about different religions in terms of in people who are Hindus, what are their culture, what is their rituals, or people who are Muslims, how are they, dealing with it? It will be quite interesting. Swati or P, you guys have any information about that?
There isn't a concept of exorcism in Hinduism. If somebody is considered possessed or whatever the
तो फिर
term
मार
is,
दो उसको फिर इस खलास.
there isn't that concept of okay, let's take him to a specific temple and then the priest is gonna get it out of him. That does not exist actually. Whatever popular media shows you is not very common. That's really not the thing. That because that's not there as per the text, or because everything is followed based on the text. That's not there. Whatever has been happening is made up by people in the sense that they have done it on their own. So what they would do is, if, for example, if they think that their family member is possessed, they would go and approach a priest and they will tell the priest, try what you can, like recite some mantras, try to get this out, or they will take the person to a specific temple that their family goes to, or that they believe in, and they'll try to get the entity out that way. But there actually isn't any book procedure.
But
But there is
yeah,
one
okay,
case
yeah.
for this.
There is a
Uh,
place, na, in
yes,
India
in North
somewhere.
India. In North India, yes.
Because P might be knowing this. Again, I forgot his
It's
name. I'm really sorry.
Mehendipur.
Okay. So it's basically like a, like क्या बोलते हैं उसको, mela kind of thing, na, like a small, you know the meaning of mela, right? Like a small fair where a different. Because I heard this in Jay Alani's podcast. He was telling in his podcast that he had gone to this place and it is somewhere in UP Bihar. I'm not exactly
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And it's a
It's
mela where different people, that sadhus and babas and all are sitting, and then uh, people, you get the people who are possessed, and then they perform different rituals.
No, that is a different one. This is a different one. There's a temple
Okay.
called Mehendipur Balaji Temple in North India, where
Okay.
if you believe that your family member is possessed, you take your family member to that temple. That there is a portion of that temple. Like for example, the temple is fairly large
Hmm.
and caters to spiritual needs, of course. But there's a part of the temple, like let's say, like in right at the back or somewhere internal, where they
Hmm.
have one dedicated room for people like this who believe that they are possessed, and they keep all these people in that room, and they work on them in the sense that the priests come and perform certain pujas on them, or they are allowed to be there until the entity leaves them. So that is what the Mehndipur Balaji temple is for. So many people who cannot control their family members any longer, who believe that they are possessed, or let's just say they're acting crazy and you feel like no, there's something else at play, they go to the temple, probably they check with the priest, and they leave the person in that room and come back.
But so there's a place called as Ratnagiri, I think so. Yeah, which is close to Mumbai, Goa, or something, or
Yeah, it's in Maharashtra.
Sawantwadi, Ratnagiri, or somewhere like that. So as a child, I used to keep going to Goa for holidays, this, that, and all. So from there, I heard a story. Now I'm not sure it is being practiced now, but yes, back then you can say during my mom time when she was young, this is what my mom had told me. So for example, now see, my mom and all is all from village, and also this is all village stories, not city stories. So in a village, if someone is possessed, okay, obviously the person is acting in a very different way. So what people used to do, no pandit, no one. So basically the main head of the village, they used to gather, they used to take this person, they used to tie him or her to a pole or to a bamboo or whatever, and they used to take sticks and bamboos and all, and this whack the person on the back. So till so basically when the ghost is there, obviously the sound is different. The ghost is screaming and in a different behavior. So you keep hitting the person until and unless the actual person, like my sound, does not come out for help or please stop, because still the ghost is there. The ghost will not feel the pain because it's just a spirit which is gone inside. The minute the ghost leaves the body, if it left my body, after that I will feel the pain, but before that I will not feel the pain. So that was that ritual. Have you guys heard about this?
No, this no.
No, I haven't.
But this was quite famous, at least in Goa, and this maybe in Maharashtra also, but this was quite famous where this was back in the day. And now I don't know if people will do it because they will be uh, taken to the jail and cops will arrest them and all. But back then they used to do that. They used to keep hitting the person who is possessed until and unless the actual person don't start screaming and say stop. Because when the ghost is there, the ghost will not care, because he actually wants harm for the person who he possessed. So this was one way. But
Oh,
then
right. Now I remembered. This is also practiced in Tamil Nadu.
it is okay.
Yes, now I realize, because I had watched a movie and I'd seen some YouTube videos as well. In villages and towns of Tamil Nadu, like I'm talking about small villages and towns,
Hmm.
some of them still practice this. Where if they believe their family member is possessed, they start beating them at a certain time until they collapse and they're like, no, it's actually me and not them.
Yeah. Yeah. Just imagine if you're getting pastings and the ghost is not going only, then what will happen? And imagine once the ghost go and then you feel the pain. That will be more horrifying than actually being possessed. But because of this, especially in India, now I don't know other countries, I don't know the other culture of different countries, but in India, and Jayalani was a person who actually voiced it out, that a lot of people in the villages, especially women, they have been killed because maybe the female or the male must have had a medical condition. But back then, not a lot of knowledge was there about different conditions, medical conditions specifically. So they used to assume that the lady is a chudel, or they used to assume that the guy is a ghost. But mainly they used to focus on the woman, and then they used to kill her, or they used to, burn her alive. There were different ways of killing her. But if little bit a mistake was done by a female, means it's over for her. And this was quite famous. Recently, you can say 5 or 6 years before, this happened somewhere in Gujarat. I also covered this in on my channel. So a couple, I think so, during Diwali, I think so, Swati, I told you this in the live stream as well, that a couple in Gujarat, from their place, they went to their family house where the parents, sibling, everyone is there. It was a festival of Diwali or some festival. And when the female was there, when the wife was there in the family house, they had all gone for shopping, and I think so she ate something or what, god only knows. She got some reactions, and then she got fits basically. So you know when you get fits, your whole body starts shaking, this, that, and all. So all the people, including the husband, assumed that there is a ghost, or there is a witch, or there's a chudel, which has come on her, and they started hitting her with iron rods. Imagine iron rods, not even bamboos and all. And in that process, she died. Where eventually the cops arrested the whole family, this, that, and all. But the shocking part was, okay, it's not understandable that the family did, but it is more shocking that the husband also was involved in this process.
He
So,
was probably trying to just get rid of her.
yeah, according to the family statement was, we assume that there was a chudel which came on her, but I feel maybe they just wanted to kill her. That was something creepy.
Yeah, basically faking possessions in order to get what you want.
Yes. We will continue. Alex has also joined in. I'll just get Alex as well. Alex, I'm getting you in three, two, and one. You know what is scary, Swati? Hani is not there. Everyone has joined in today, but Hani is missing.
Ah, okay. No, probably if today is a weekday, no? Normally you do it on Tuesday. Monday is a very, sorry, I didn't mean weekday. I meant today is Monday, which is very busy. Normally your
Hmm.
live is on Tuesday.
Hey, Desmond, how are you?
Hi, Alex.
Hi,
Your volume is a bit low. 1 minute.
can you hear me now?
Swati and Nikita, can you hear Alex?
Very low.
Very low.
1 minute.
Shane, I am not live on Instagram. I'm live on YouTube. So join my YouTube channel. Instagram is just kept open. Join my YouTube channel. Whoever's there on Instagram, join my YouTube channel. Anyways, we'll wait for Alex. Then,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, we can hear you, but it is.
Actually, I'm traveling, bro.
No worries, no worries. So, how.
I'm traveling out of. I'm actually in Europe right now.
Oh, wow. Quite interesting. Before we go ahead, Alex, since you are a fan of the paranormal and you like listening to different podcasts, we have another guest for tonight, that is Nikita. She also has her podcast. So you can find her on Instagram first, 3 a.m. Fear Podcast. I'll send you the link. Do follow her. And then we also have Swati. You must know Swati by now. She also has her this on Spotify, Desi Horror Podcast. So please don't forget to follow both of them. Yes, now you can continue. Do you have anything to share with us tonight?
No stories as such, to be honest.
Yes. Who's this looking like a wow?
No, it was a YouTube. Sorry, it was an Instagram.
So you're telling us we are looking like a wow? So since you're traveling in Europe, there might be some stories. It's not possible that Alex is joined in and he does not have anything to share.
Yeah, actually, I heard one story, but that was about Germany's Black Forest.
Yeah, feel free.
I mean, nothing unusual. There was a guy who told me he's a proper German.
Hmm.
So his dad used to work as a cop long time back, 30, 40 years back. So once he was traveling through that Black Forest area, which is quite haunted, so he heard somebody calling out his name. And
Okay.
yeah, someone calling out his name, and it sounded like someone whom he know has long passed away. So at that
Ooh.
time, yeah, it was quite creepy. So he did not stop, luckily. He knew that the voice was quite familiar to him and that person is no longer alive. But still, he could hear the voice very clearly. So he did
For
not
sh-
stop.
for sure, that was not the person. Might be a demon. Might be just trying to get the person's attention.
Right.
So yeah, Swati, we were discussing about possession. So Alex, you don't have anything to share, right?
No, Desmond.
No worries. We will continue with our discussion because it's already 1 hour 32 minutes. Maybe in 10 minutes we'll wrap up. Swati, Nikita, anything more you would like to add in terms of possession or in terms of the story what Swati was discussing?
Possession as of now. Oh, yes, I did remember something. I did a case recently on the exorcism of Annalise Michel, and I
Hmm.
found out that it was after her case that the bishop started saying that, only if the person gives permission, then they will do an exorcism. Because she had about 67 exorcisms performed on her, after which she died.
Oh. Hmm.
So everything started after her.
And I think so. Her case, Annalise Michel, that was the first case which went viral in the sense like everyone knew about it back then also, and after that,
Yes,
people started understanding the meaning of it as well. That's what I feel.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. That
it's
was in Germany.
quite interesting case. And also, but I have a question for all of you all. Now I know that there is one movie based on Annalise Michel, which is The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is quite creepy. And I feel, I was also reading about this case, I feel that whatever they showed in the movie, it's not exactly what happened, but little bit close to what happened. But is there any other movie based on her, on Annalise? Is there anything else? Because in terms of researching, yeah, there are articles, but in terms of movies, is there only one movie, or there are any movies which have been made more, which I don't know about?
I don't think so, movies, but the movie came from the book.
Yeah. So obviously, in
I
the
don't.
book there will be more of information, right?
Yes.
So when you were
There
when
are
you were
tapes. There are tapes.
yeah,
Annalise
there are
Michel, the Exorcist tapes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was I was thinking to this plate right now and see. It's quite
No, not
interesting. But when you were doing the research uh,
yes.
about this Annalise Michel, there were around six or seven, I think so, right? Demons or devils which had possessed her.
Yes.
And I was just seeing a video before the live stream, and the person was telling around six or seven, and they that person named also that the demons, and out of that one was Hitler. Is it true or is it something fake? I could not get to watch the full video, like when you were researching
According
out of this.
according to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reports, yes, Hitler was one of them. But there is something surprising in that, which I found surprising. It's not mentioned much, which was almost all the demons were asking her, or I mean, asking the people around her in her voice to
Hmm.
do good. Why would a demon ask people to do good? Like they always saying, do good, otherwise you will end up here with us in hell. Why would an evil entity want them to do good?
Are you sure about it? Because the article what I read, it says that she could hear whispers from these demons about that you are going to rot in hell and something something. Whenever she used to pray, she could hear this kind of things like you're going to rot in hell and
Yes,
this that
yes.
and
No, she could hear that, but when the exorcism was being performed, that time she was speaking to her family, to the priest, in the
hmm.
voice of the demon. And that time she was
Oh,
telling them that, don't do these
okay.
things, otherwise you're going to rot in hell.
Oh, so
So I was thinking, why?
maybe it might be actually Annalise only who might be telling the family that. I don't know. I don't know, but
I did
uh,
consider that. Maybe she was popping in between.
yeah, I think so because even while she was possessed, she used to write letters as well, to the priest and to her family as well. So she used to come
Yes,
in her conscious, and maybe she might be uh, writing about that. But about this Hitler thing, it's very hard to digest. But I also kind of believe, but I still don't believe that okay, Hitler, because I was listening to another podcast, I can't remember. So everyone knows about this Jeffrey Dahmer. If you all don't know about Jeffrey
yes.
Dahmer, basically
Yeah, yeah.
he's, yeah,
The
so you all
serious.
know that. No introduction needed. So one of the paranormal investigators, he said that someone asked him a question that okay, there is a difference between a demon and a spirit. The spirit is basically a human who has lived the earth and this, and then he becomes a spirit, and a demon is something different. So how do you identify between a good spirit and a evil spirit? So basically he gave an answer. It was very interesting, is that, like, example, Jeffrey Dahmer, I believe he's dead by now. Okay, so when he dies, or any person who has done a lot of bad things or evil stuff, especially killing people, and they get pleasure by killing people, when they die, a lot of energy also passes through the soul, and that soul or that spirit becomes evil, and this kind of evil spirits try to harm as compared to the normal good spirits, or there are some saints as well, so they are also spirits, but they won't harm, but this kind of people will harm. So I kind of believe that okay, Hitler might be there who must have possessed her, but I'm still I read the whole article. There are some things which I believe, but it's very hard for me to digest that Hitler. Like, what is your point of view? All three of you, like, what's your perspective in terms of this?
In my case, also, I couldn't believe. I had to double check my sources to make sure. And yeah, it was there.
So it was there.
Yeah.
What about Swati? Since you're from Germany and Hitler was your best
Ah.
friend.
That is an extremely controversial line to be saying on national TV. Uh, Actually, I didn't know this. This was something new. The what you guys
Yeah.
just spoke about, connect to Germany is, yeah, it's something new.
But Annelies Michel case, Nikita,
That
she
I
was
knew
from
because
Germany,
it's very
right?
famous. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That I know.
Yes,
That is
it's
a very
from
famous
Germany.
case. But not much in terms of like, because I watched the movie Exorcism of Emily Rose. Emily
Hmm.
Rose is based on her, right?
Yeah, yeah. Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
but Emily Rose is not a German movie. That's a US movie. So I only
Hmm.
watched that. I never read about the history of the actual German tale.
Hmm. You
Yeah,
should
that's
read
why this
about
is
it.
new to me. Yeah, yeah. Also, that movie itself was so disturbing that I didn't research anything about that case. That movie was truly, truly terrifying.
Yeah. In the movie, also, they showed about where one scene was there when she had suffered a lot, and then Mother Mary, she had approached her.
Yes, and she has a
Uh,
choice. The
yeah,
actually when she's about to when before she dies, she has a choice. Either
choice.
she
Yeah,
can go on living or she can let it go and pass. And I think she
yeah,
chose to pass because she had suffered enough.
yeah. Something like that. But this is the case which really creeps me out. Where if you see the actual images,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is really disturbing actually, if you go to see. And even the actual the audio recording of her speaking, that is quite creepy. You guys
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
this.
Yep.
So just uh, but overall, as a normal person, uh, including Nikita, who has done deep research, overall, what do you feel like? What they actually showed in the movie, was it very close to what actually happened, or what they showed in the movie is completely different?
I
Just
did not
one
watch
point.
the movie.
Oh, sorry. Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
No, I did not watch the movie. So I just
No,
read the original, the
hmm,
information.
I watched the movie, so I have not done the research bit because the movie itself was too scary for me. Scary for me in the sense it was not scary that I cannot watch. It was more like so disturbing that I was like, okay, I don't want to go through the real life information. It's pretty accurate what I have read because I watched this movie twice, not once. It's a very well done movie. The actress of this movie has done a splendid job, considering that she was not a
hmm,
known actress at the time. She became famous a little later. She did
hmm,
excellent in that movie. I don't know why they never gave her any awards. It feels like all these awards are just bought.
yeah,
So she did a very
that's
good job. Yeah, exactly. She should have won awards for that movie, but clearly all these awards can't be trusted. Coming to the content of the movie, it was pretty close because in that movie also they showed how many. Of course, they cannot show 67. That would be too long, but they showed the extent of how bad it became. Where at
hmm,
one point it's like your her body itself was unresponsive. It had gone through too much, and
hmm,
the actress had lost weight for the role. So you could see the beginning character, like when she started the movie she was a certain size, and by the end of the movie she was literally size 0,
hmm.
which was the what happened in the real case as well. As you can see in these pictures, this person is like a bag of bones by the end of it.
Yeah, and I feel what story, what even you shared. Hey, wait, 1 minute, 1 minute. Everyone, Hani Pasha has just joined in. Nikita, since you're new to our stream, Hani Pasha is a mysterious person, and I feel you should do a special episode on him because he's always there on our stream, but he has never joined the stream. We have not heard his voice. We don't know if it is a guy or a female. So this everyone, just say hi to Hani Pasha. I hope he's still there. He sent a hello
Hi.
message at 11 p.m. and I seen it now. So yeah, what I was telling Swati is basically the story what you told about your mom. This also is kind of similar because when she also started getting the symptoms, or when she also started feeling something different, she first went to the doctor to check for medical help. But then I think so eventually after that she started realizing and witnessing few things, and the creepiest part was that when she used to pray, she could hear this demons telling her that, you're going to rot in hell. And that's how I feel she took the help of the priest of the church. And eventually I feel in the movie, it's been years that I have watched this movie, but I remember that the priest also was being put in prison right after that.
Yes, yes, because of
Yes,
it resulting in death. Yeah.
but they
Hmm.
didn't serve their sentence.
They did not.
They were sentenced, but they didn't serve. They got some community service. But there is something which I want to point out here, which was she was first diagnosed as an epileptic, and
Hmm.
the epilepsy that she has been told that she had, which was temporal lobe epilepsy, one
Hmm.
of its symptoms, if it is
Hmm.
in extreme cases, one of its symptoms is hallucinations. So
Hmm.
there is a chance that if she was on the higher end of that, then she
Hmm.
could have been hallucinating because
Okay.
that actually messes with your head. There are
If you're
different types of
saying,
epilepsies.
yeah, if you're saying that, is there a symptom of where the patient speaks in different languages and different voices?
No,
Is
the
there
languages and voices can't be explained. But
bec-
the hallucinations, the feelings that you're not in your body, that something is not right, those kind of
because
feelings are aligned with epilepsy.
it's quite creepy, because this is I'm just going to play this audio file. But before that, Hani has just replied saying that it's cold in Germany. Swati, is it really cold in Germany?
It is. It is. The winter has begun.
So इन लोग का अलग ही chat चालू है, this Hani Pasha and Muskan. He's saying, I am not well, it's cold. Muskan is saying, what happened, all okay? Then he's saying, I'm not well, high fever. Muskan is saying, take care, have soup and keep warm. My god, here we are discussing something interesting, and in the chat something else is only happening. Anyways, I will because see, after hearing this audio clip, no, I kind of felt that no man, this cannot be something medical. You must have heard this, no, Swati?
Hmm.
Das ist so schlimm ist und so grausam und so furchtbar. Nee. Das tut mir leid, das ist so leicht zu
You
haben. Ist
understand
da
German?
wirklich schlimm?
Little bit.
Da will man überhaupt nicht mehr, da will man kein
I actually want to know what she says.
But that clip, she's speaking in German. She's not speaking in multiple
Yeah,
languages.
but now this is Hitler. This is Hitler's voice apparently. Fuck it, I'm not playing. I'm alone at home. I don't want to get scared. You could understand anything?
No, the voice is very muffled.
Ah, okay. I actually want to
I think
understand and try
Hani
to
replied.
see
I think Hani replied something. He
whose
understood.
stream is on.
So Hani apparently heard it. He says that the translation is, I will take her with me.
Ah, okay. He said, okay, I will take her with me. So that was Hitler who was saying that.
The thing is, it's not that hard to imitate Hitler's voice. So I don't see how it could have been very far fetched. Like, for example, if you're good at mimicry, of course you
Hmm.
would be you would be able to do it easily. Like, for example, let's say you're good at mimicry, you can easily mimic Shah Rukh Khan or Hrithik Roshan in a different tone. So this Hitler bit, I
Hmm.
don't find it as okay. Something has to enter her for this to happen.
Yeah. But
But
then
languages
there was,
is complicated to explain.
yeah, but there was another one. I think so. Nikita will know this. I think so. From Lucifer was there, one of
Yes, Lucifer
the,
was there.
But
and there
Lucy,
was Judas. Judas also was there. I think so,
Yes,
right?
Judas also was there. He was saying that he was in hell because of betrayal.
And
And
this Judas
see,
is from
see,
the Bible character, right?
yes,
The
I
who
need
was
to
the
check.
apostle, the disciples of Jesus, who
Yeah,
betrayed
Jesus.
Jesus because of something. Yeah, Alex
Honey
was
has a
saying
good
something.
point. Yeah, Honey has a good point. See, what he mentioned is if it was a possession, the victim
Hmm.
would have spoken in a different language, Latin perhaps.
Yeah.
Right. See, if I speak in Hindi, it doesn't mean that I'm possessed. But if I
Huh.
speak in proper Dutch or Norwegian language, which
Hmm.
means there is something fishy, right? The person has
Yeah,
got.
because you could have never known those languages. Yeah.
But this
Hmm.
lady is German and she's talking in proper German. So I agree with Hani to a certain extent. He says it's a mental issue.
Yeah, I was actually just going to come to that part of the conversation. So, a very popular a theory is that a lot of possessions can be explained through schizophrenia. So,
Hmm.
schizophrenia at that point of time was not diagnosed. It happened only
Hmm.
later when diagnosis came into place. And now, when psychologists and researchers look back and look at terminal, I mean, they look at the symptoms and they try to diagnose what happened in the past. A lot of them have claimed that schizophrenia is a way that you can explain all of this, which may be true, because schizophrenia again was not discovered, but I mean, the doctors were able to call it a mental health disease only much later, and they
Hmm.
also gave proper terminology, proper symptoms, medication only later. So of course at that time they could not have diagnosed it this way. And there's a book actually, which I read very recently. It's called A
Hmm.
Head Full of Ghosts. It's a fiction book, it's not a real book. I mean, sorry, it's not a real story.
Hmm.
It's based on fictional story, but the story pretty much explains how this could have happened. So, A Head Full of Ghosts is written by an author called Paul Tremblay. This guy has also written other popular books which have been made into movies,
Hmm.
which we discuss on another day because he's done some very famous creepy movies. So, this book is basically about a family where the older daughter starts behaving very strangely, and one of that is all of the symptoms that uh, Annalise Michelle had. So one is, um, she starts talking to herself. Then she claims that she can hear voices. She does not take care of herself in the sense that she starts looking worse than how she normally is. And then yeah, she's also talks in this book. There is no different language, she's not speaking in other
Hmm.
languages, but she does change her voice a lot in the sense that she copies how multiple characters speak and does all of the voice acting, but no different languages as such. But she does a lot of weird stuff basically, and the family starts suspecting that uh, something's wrong with her. And then when they take her for counseling, the doctors diagnose her as schizophrenic. And once they
Hmm.
diagnose her as schizophrenic, they give her medication, all of that. But the family does not want to believe in that. They believe that no, it's beyond this. It's not schizophrenia. So they call in a church and the pastor and everybody gets involved. And then towards the end of the book, they perform a proper exorcism on her, where she starts fighting and speaking in different, not languages again, different voices, and biting the pastor and throwing a fit basically.
This
And
is
the
about Annalise Michelle only, right? You're talking
no, this
about
is a
her
book
only,
that
right?
I read.
But about her only, right? Or
No,
this
no,
is
no. This is
different. Okay, okay, okay,
different
okay, okay,
book,
okay,
yeah. But
okay,
this
okay. Yeah.
explains a lot of it. And then
Hmm.
the family goes above. I mean, sorry, like I said, they did not want to go with the medical diagnosis, and they bring in the church, and yeah, they perform the full exorcism, like how you would see on TV, with the protagonist fighting and biting the person and spitting out curses and everything. But at the
Hmm.
same time, she's also saying that you cannot do this to me. I am mentally ill. I am not possessed. You have to stop. You have to stop. But they don't stop. They just go on performing this like they keep reciting verses and throwing water on her, and she starts
Hmm.
becoming violent. And finally, at the end, she breaks free from the rope or whatever you call it, what they've tied around her. It's not a rope, but I think they just use a basic cloth around her arms to keep her strapped to the bed. And she breaks out from that,
Hmm.
and she starts running all over the house. And everything is in chaos now because they were not expecting that to happen. So the pastor is also like scrambling, and the other church members are scrambling, her family members are scrambling, but this person has already exited the room and running all over the house.
Hmm.
and she ends up killing herself. She jumps off the stairs and she kills herself.
Oh God.
And the reason is because of this. She is unable to control the voices in her head because, again, she's schizophrenic, and her parents performed an exorcism on her, which triggered her in a different way, because people with such a mental health disorder should be
Hmm.
handled differently. You should not be subjecting them to exorcisms and violence and all of that, and which is why she just jumped off the stairs and killed herself. So
But
this book, I feel the story was actually very close to a lot of real life possessions that I've heard of.
don't you think, okay, now if you go back to the history, possessions or spirits or demons or whatever you can call it, this was way before science. I may be wrong, maybe right, I don't know. But my point of view is, maybe, see, obviously science and the religion are not two different platforms only. They will never come together. So maybe science must have given a different term to it, and maybe the religion must have given different term to it. Maybe it might be one. It can be just one thing, but two different terms. I don't know, but that's what I feel. But at least in terms of this case, what we are talking about, Annalise Michelle, I feel that somewhere it was true. But yeah, in terms of Hitler, it is hard to believe, because see, now this article also, it said that believing she was possessed, she ripped her clothes off her body and 400 squats a day, crawled under a table and barked like a dog for 2 days. And she also ate spiders and coal, bit the head of a dead bird, and licked her own urine from the floor. Now, in terms of the medical condition, are there symptoms like that, or this is
Yeah, so
something
there is
where?
a spectrum actually in schizophrenia. There's a spectrum. So there are people
Hmm,
who are only borderline schizophrenic, where only
hmm.
few things happen to them. But if you're on the extreme spectrum, you can do a lot of crazy things because you hear voices basically in that medical condition. Like, and you have these voices
Oh,
telling you to do things. So you're unable to control your mind and you act out.
that's quite creepy. But very funny part. At the weekends, there is one voice in my head: open the bottle and drink. So, am I also possessed, or just cracking a joke? Muskan is saying, I don't think language plays a role. Jinn possession, they speak in Arabic as well.
Yeah,
Actually, in the
because the
Middle
entity
East,
that has
it's
possessed you
differently.
is Arabic. I'm assuming that's why.
But in case, remember, everyone who's watching, if I start speaking in Hindi properly, that means I have been possessed. Because normally I can't speak, but just imagine, Swati, remember, anyways, you keep watching my reels and all. In case if I have Shuddha Hindi, matlab gaya. I am being possessed. That is there.
Or you just have a mental diagnosis and you need to go for therapy.
Yeah, maybe. Hani thinks she's talking in Austrian accent. Oh my god, Hani should join the panel, but he never joins. Yes. But overall, anyways, it's 1 hour 58 minutes. We will shut it down now. It's almost touching to us. Overall, everyone, Swati, Nikita, Alex, and whoever's listening as well, what do you feel? Is this, she had a medical condition, or she was actually being possessed? Let's start with Swati.
My guess is medical mental health disorder and an extreme spectrum, like extreme schizophrenia combined with paranoia, combined with isolation, all of that. So it was like bad circumstances plus extreme mental health.
Hmm. Now talking to Nikita, since she have done extreme research on this, what do you feel? What's your final verdict?
I too believe the same. I think it's a mixture of some health conditions and also her parents who were so hell bent on, taking her to the church, cutting her off the medication that the doctor had already given her, and that too without asking the doctor's permission. So that has a huge repercussion if you cut
It
off
there
such kind
is
of medication.
evidence. There is evidence where they have cut off? Because I believe she was taking initially, right, some medication.
She was taking for epilepsy, and if you cut off those medications, it can really screw up with your head.
No, so side effects also are there of that.
Yes, yes. So it is
Oh,
possible.
okay.
And I have here my notes in front of me. So she had two, three, four, five. She had five people talking within her around this time. So she had
But then,
Judas, Cain, Valentine, Fleischmann, Nero, and Satan.
okay. So, if you have this medical condition, do you become normal as well for a while? Because when we were reading this case, or when we were researching this case, at least in the movie, what they showed that she was getting fine, and then she used to write letters to her family or the priest. So, medically, also, if you fall sick, do you become normal? Maybe this can be a point where we
Mhm.
can consider her being possessed. I don't know. It's just an open
I
conversation.
am okay. Uh, I am a halfway expert in one type of epilepsy. So I can tell you that if you have a condition, then it doesn't go away, at
So,
least unless you do some kind of surgery or if the doctor says and it just disappears one fine day. Other than that, it doesn't go away. I don't know about schizophrenia, but epilepsy just does not go away. And if you cut off medications without, you need to slowly cut off the medications, you
hmm.
can't just stop them one fine day. And as per her reports, it seems like her parents just stopped giving her. They just handed her over to the priest and they just stopped it.
But even
So,
after when she was in when the priest was in charge basically of her, and when he was performing all the rituals, in the middle she was getting fine, right? Like in the sense she was having a normal conversation with the priest and with the parents, and then again she used to get possessed. This was as per the movie.
yes,
But the
yes,
question still remains, if you are medically unstable, how do you get stable for a while, write letters, and then again you go back to the same base? Like, you go back to becoming medically unstable. That is a question which needs a proper answer.
Actually, no, that also has an answer. So, when you look at schizophrenia, like I mentioned, there is a spectrum, and
Hmm.
that spectrum is such that even if you have schizophrenia, you will have some normal days. So there's actually a lady on YouTube who's
Ah.
schizophrenic, and I think her channel's name is My Schizophrenic Life or Life as a Schizophrenic or something like that. I've watched her
Hmm.
channel. I've watched a couple of her videos before. She is not on
Okay.
the extreme spectrum. She is actually in the middle. When she was younger, I think she was on the lower end, but as she got older, she got into the middle area. And she explains how some days she does have good days where she's able to function like a completely normal adult with no problems. But there are
Hmm.
several days where she cannot be normal. So that there are, I mean, just because you're on the schizophrenia spectrum, that doesn't mean you will not have some normal days.
Okay. So eventually, okay, both of you all say that it is more towards science and she was mentally unstable. I
And
still kind
multiple
of.
things, not just the illness. It's
Yeah.
also the paranoia and isolation. Like if you're going through a problem and then you're isolated, it'll obviously get worse. That is like saying that instead of putting someone who has a mental illness in a hospital,
Hmm.
you're going and putting them in jail. So you can imagine what would happen to that person. So same concept. When she was going through this issue, they isolated her after a point. So I feel it was schizophrenia plus paranoia plus isolation. That could be a way to explain it. Of course, everything cannot be explained, but this seems like a plausible explanation.
Hmm. And Nikita, when you were researching, do you know exactly, as per your research, how she died? Like, I know she died on 1st of July or something, 1973 or
yes.
something, but what was like the post-mortem report or something like that?
A
There.
postmortem report was said because she was not eating properly. I'm
Okay.
just gonna scroll to that section. But yes, basically that was the main reason because she was dehydrated, she wasn't eating anything, That was the major reason. Also, one more thing is that the doctor found that the priest said that nothing was done to her other than this. Like she was eating a little bit, but nothing more than that. She was weighing less than 80 pounds. But what the doctor found while doing this autopsy, I guess, was that she did have some kind of wounds on her. But no
Wounds.
one said that, they said, no, nothing happened to her. We didn't hit her. We didn't do anything. But she did have some kind of wounds. I'm trying to check that section.
Was it by herself? Because
Yeah, I
sometime
have
in
it here. I have it here. So, Dr. Roth, while visiting, uh, Dr. Roth said that there were no injuries on Annalise. But Father Renz noticed that she had several bruises, a swollen cheek, and black eyes. This raised a lot of questions. How can someone have bruises, a swollen cheek, black eyes? I can understand. She's not sleeping well. She's, tired. She's had exorcisms. Okay, but bruised, so many bruises, swollen cheeks. How?
So I feel, eventually, if you come down to a simple term in regards to this story, it's still a question mark, because because science also will have a proper explanation, and even the religion will have a proper explanation. And I feel it will be very difficult to come to a conclusion, because eventually the only person who can actually tell us is Annalise, because she was the one who actually went through that. So maybe we'll never know what's the actual truth.
What I believe, in short,
Hmm.
so what I believe in short was that Annalise's mother, she had a child outside wedlock. The child died when Annalise was very young, and her mother always taught her to pray to God to ask for forgiveness for her
Hmm.
sins. And
Hmm.
because of that, Annalise was very close to God. She was very close to the church. And I
Hmm.
feel that throughout her life, her mother kept pushing her towards the church. And that's what ended up in all of this. Because when you're highly religious, your
Hmm.
parents, your family members tend to take you away from science and more
Right,
towards God.
right, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and back then, the culture, the mindset also was not that go to the doctor
Yeah,
first and see, like, professional help. It was
yeah.
anything, same like India also, like superstition.
This was the
Mm.
1950s. I mean, India now also, they are not going to take you to a mental health professional if you have a problem.
Of
Yeah.
course, of course.
That is quite funny. Anyways, we will continue the conversation, because right now my voice is there in my stomach saying that please eat, because very hungry. So we shall end the live stream for tonight. But anyways, thank you, Swati. Thank you, Nikita. It was the first time
Thank you.
you came. Hope to see you every time whenever we do a live stream. You can keep
Yeah,
having
sure.
different conversations. And happy Halloween, everyone. Please go celebrate that.
Yes, happy Halloween to you too.
Happy Halloween, Hani, Muskan, Priyanka. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, P. Whoever joined in, thank you so much. And please don't forget to follow Nikita and Swati. I will be putting their links in the description after the live stream ends. And yeah, thank you, everyone. And we shall see you soon in our next live stream.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you so much.